So Gaffer, today you just completed your 8th signing of January, Liam Davis. You've worked for him before, you must be really pleased to get him in.
Yeah, I worked with him at Northampton, and then I took him to Yeovil, where he did very well in our championship season. And I got a phone call to say that he was coming back into the country from Sweden, where he was playing. And did I remember him? And did I like him? And could he train? He trained for a couple of days with us and looked the part. And he's definitely got strengths. He's a very athletic player. He's got a sort of booming shot on him, and I know him well. So it's a good signing for us, very good signing. And so it was one that I couldn't really turn down, even though we was on the very edge of our budget.
You can play in a few different positions, obviously defence, midfield, a few different options. That obviously helps you a lot going forward.
Well, it does, of course it does, because we need people that are utility players as well. Can probably play as a left centre half as well, because he's 6 foot. Yeah, so he can play everywhere. I think if you ask him, he's probably an attacking left-sided player that can defend. And we need that. We need that type as cover, not just as cover, but add to the squad. And I'm sure when people see him, they'll be quite happy with the way he plays.
You always talk about signing characters. You want the right people in the dressing room. As it's the 3rd time you signed him, you're obviously pretty convinced that he's got the right character.
Yeah, he was unlucky at Northampton because he was injured quite often. He had an injury that people couldn't quite work out what it was, and he had to have an operation. So he was a little bit unlucky there, but because I'd seen him, knew him, I took him to Yeovil, and he didn't let anybody down, and that was in the championship season. So he's definitely this level. He went to Sweden for a bit of a change, I think, and been out there myself, so we can swear at each other in Swedish sometimes. And no, just pleased to have him in because I know that he can do a job for us.
It's a short-term contract as well. It's an end of the season, so it's kind of flexibility for both sides.
Yeah, well, when things happen very quickly, you've got to make sure that you don't, have anything too long-term, and then something else sort of crops up, or you find out that, he's had a problem somewhere, because everything was subject to medical and international clearance. Well, the medical's been cleared up now, so that's good, and now it's just international clearance we're waiting for. So that. And from Sweden, normally that's good. They do it pretty quickly. So I think he's looking forward to it. It was very quick for him to get sorted out. That's good for him and his family. And he's still fairly fit through playing games in Gothenburg.
This deal's slightly different in that we've worked with the Robins Trust to get their deal done. It's a fantastic gesture from them, isn't it? It's
a great gesture from them, and I know they've helped out on several occasions when we've needed equipment, no, we thank them, because sometimes you need that to bring in that little bit extra. When the loan period, you have to take someone on till the end of the season, you can't bring anyone else in, so that numbers are needed, and it's been a fantastic help for the club that they then can come up with finances to help us fund a player that the manager wants in the club. So I thank them all. I know they do a lot of stuff that brings in money with the club, and we try and spend it wisely and properly. But anyway, it's always a nice gesture. So thank you.
You, the chairman, fans and players have always mentioned the great spirit around the club and sort of the family atmosphere. That it's just another example of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and that's what everybody's at the football club to do, help out. From somebody that makes a cup of tea to somebody who's giving over finances to help fund a player. And we appreciate it, and we do. We don't just say it, we do appreciate it. And I think everybody appreciates everybody else, and when we ask for something, people know we're not taking liberties, we're not asking for something that we don't need. And they wouldn't give something if we didn't have a good argument for it, and that would be right. So No, the spirit of the club is there. I mean, even to the players up at Crewe, if we didn't have any spirit on that day, we'd have got beat. You know, and we had the fans that kept behind us towards the end. I know you get the odd disgruntled fan that probably didn't go to the game and said we should be beating Crewe, but you know, we've got to be careful. We've got to make sure that we know where we are, what division we're in. There are teams that all teams can beat everyone else, and at the moment we got to stick together, and that's another example of our Robins Trust trusting us.
With not much more than 24 hours left until the deadline closes, can you officially say that you're done now for January, or
no, nobody
never say never?
No, never say never. And as I said earlier, you know, you could get odd and wingy suddenly turn up on your doorstep like he did at QPR, or somebody that's out of contract that doesn't have to be signed within the windows. You know, they've kept their options open. Before they know it, they haven't got anywhere. So you have to be aware of that. But of course, you've still got to pay them. So we've got to be careful, because we are on the edge of our fair play
salary cap, whatever.
Salary cap, yeah, what they call it, and that we're at that. And there's some clubs I know of that are above that salary cap, and with a bit of luck they'll be docked points. But no, it's terrible saying that. But you know, listen, we got them salary caps. They're the rules, and so you have to stay within it.
Brilliant. Cheers.
No problem.